So, dear students, today we will be discussing about HTML forms. So, in previous classes, you might have learned about presentation tags, formatting tags, and basic information about HTML, for what purpose you are using, and what are the different options available in HTML tags here, how you can use this attributes. So, all these informations you might have learned in the previous lecture here. So today, in this presentation, we will be discussing about HTML forms here. So what do you mean by forms? So why specifically we are using in HTML? So everybody knows that the HTML is hypertext markup language used for a presentation or designing purpose here. Now, if I need to send any kind of information, so from the client to the server, I require some interface, so computer graphic interface here. So what type of interface here? So that should be a user understandable manner here. Okay, so we can create this kind of interface with the help of form tags. So using the form tags, I can able to enter the information from the front end. So after clicking that interface, so that information will be goes to the server here. So again, from server, we are going to receive the proper respond. Okay, so to perform this kind of process, we require form tag here. So how specifically we are using HTML form tags in here. Okay, so what are the different types of attributes we are using here? So another thing is where we are going to use the form tag here. So what are the different attributes and what are the different types we can implement in this HTML tag here? So we will be seeing one by one. Right. So before moving to that form tag, what exactly the process, how it is going to happen? So imagine as a user, I'm going to type some information here. Okay, through the browser. Okay, so I'm going to type some information through the web browser. So with the help of form, a HTML form or data from the form. Okay, so once I have typed that information through that interface, so my data will be processed with the help of the web server. So from the web server, it goes to that form processing program. So, or we can call it as CGI here. So what is that form processing program? Because we are using form tags here. So what are the types, which types of form we have used? Based on that, our data is going to be processed here. So either we are going to use a checkbox, or we are going to use that buttons, or we are going to use that option button, or text area, or text, and what type of information we are passing through that server here. So it's goes to that database. So where whether we are going to store that information, or we are going to retrieve the information from the front back end to the front end here. Okay, so from the form processing program, it goes to the database management system. So where in the database only, so our all the data or information is stored in that particular location here. So again, if it is a client request, so what will happen? From the database, it goes to the form processing, and again it goes to the HTML document through web server, and finally with the help of web browser, user can able to see or access that information, whatever he or she is requesting. So this is one general understanding about form processing here. Okay, so this is how the data flow or workflow will be happen with the help of form tag in HTML. Okay, so next we will be moving on to what is exactly mean by forms, especially in HTML. So the form element is used to create a data input form. So what is that? The form element is used to create a data input form. So main purpose of going for forms is to provide an input data here. So simply I can't type any information here. We require some sort of interface to feed that data here. So what are the types of interface here? So through form tag, I can generate it. So how I'm going to introduce that form tag? A region using forms is enclosed within a form, start form tag and end form tag here. So this is the syntax we need to follow whenever we are using the form attributes or form elements here. So it's a case sensitive. You need to follow one format here. Okay, so what are the three main attributes? The form element has the three main attributes: action, method, and encrypt. So what is that? Action, method, and encrypt. So method is nothing but whether we are going to use a get method or post method here. Action, from which program I'm trying to provide the input and sending the request to the server here. So encrypt, what type of information I am going to send it here. So first, we will discuss about method. Specifies the way in which the data from the user are encoded. Okay, so how we are going to transmit the information. So the default method is going to be get. Okay, so but mostly a post method is preferred here. So if I'm sending a non-confidential information, then I can make use of get method. Suppose if I'm sending or sharing a sensitive information or confidential information, then post method is more preferable here. Okay, so get method in the interface program, it receives the encoded form input. So with the help of the variable query string. Okay, so which follows the question mark, the URL that calls the script here. So that means, so whenever I'm using the get method, so the values whatever I am using in the interface will be visible to that third party here. So because I'm going to transmit the information with the help of a URL process here. Okay, so whereas in post method, so the program receives the encoded form input in its standard input stream here. So that mainly deals with content length here. So what will happen whenever I'm trying to use a post method to transmit the information through the web server, in the sense it's mostly secured compared to a get method here. So here what happens in post method, so we can't able to find out what sort of data we are transmitting here. So that is one advantage of post method here. So that's why most of the user or programmers are preferring to use post method instead of going with get method here. Okay, so let's move on to a next attribute, action. So specify the destination URL to which the form should be submitted once it has been completed by the user. So in that action attribute, whenever we are using the form tag, we have to remember these three attributes. So one is method, another one is action, another one is encrypt here. So if I'm not using encrypt, that's okay, no problem. But we need to specify these two attribute here. One is action, another one is method here. So what do you mean by action here? So from where I'm going to submit the form, that destination URL I have to mention in the attribute action here. So if no URL is specified, so what will happen? The URL of the current document containing the form is used. So it will take, the program will take the current form or current document name itself as a URL here. Okay, so this mail to action, that is one attribute. The usage of that mail to attribute is the data from the form is mailed to the specified email address. So mostly or preferably it uses the post method. So this is it's all about the another attribute action here. So in the previous slide we discussed about method, so get method and post method. So what sort of method we are using in the form tag here? So what is the use of that? How we are transmitting that information? So whereas action is nothing but we are selecting the destination here. So where I need to submit the form details here. So that is the difference between method and action attribute. Now moving on to encrypt type. So tell the browser how the data from a form should be encoded when it's returned to the server. Okay, so once it returns to the server, how the data from a form should be encoded. So that will be specifying with the help of the attribute encrypt type here. Okay, next moving on to the form tag. So how we will be specifying the form tag in HTML. So form action. So it's two attributes I told. One is action, another one is method. So form action is equal to that URL, the destination URL you have to specify here. Okay, file name dot ASP, file name dot PHP. So any a file extension here. So method is equal to either get method or post method. So in between, we need to provide the form elements details, which is relevant to that topic here. Okay. So then at last, once you have done with that form elements document, then we need to end that form attributes or form tag definitions here with the help of end tag. Okay, so this is the syntax, or this is how we need to use the form tag in HTML. So start form tag, and end form tag here. Now, what are the inputs we need to provide whenever we are going to use the form tag here? So along with that attribute. So form input is going to be, input is a keyword. So only used within a form element and is denoted by input tag here. So what are the attributes we will be having in the input tag here? So name, maximum length, size, source, value, type, checked, disabled, align, and read only. So name, it specifies the name of the particular element. So maximum length, the maximum number of characters that can be entered by users in a text field. Suppose if I'm using the input type is equal to text, what is the maximum characters we can type? So that we have to specify in the attribute maximum length here. So size is nothing but specifies the size of the field and depends on its type here. So what is the exact size of the field here, the fixed size? Then source, we have to mention the URL, okay, destination URL. So value contains the initial value displayed to the user. So type defines the type of data used in the field. So whether I'm using a type as a text, or type as a text area, or type as a checkbox, or type as an option button. So any interface here. So that we need to specify. So checked indicates that a checkbox or radio button is selected. So whether that interface is option is going to be enabled or not. So disabled prevents the field from receiving focus. So if I'm if I'm providing that attribute name as disable, so we can't access that interface here. Okay, so right, so that is one advantage here. So alignment if image is used, so proper alignment, because we are using HTML, so we need to focus on the presentation and a proper designing. So formatting is very important here. So read only prevents modification of the content of the field here. So if I'm using this attribute read only, so further we can't modify here. So we can view the content, but we can't modify, like how we are using in the Word document read only option. So similar to that. So these are the attributes we can use it whenever we are going with the tag input in form elements. Right. So what do you mean by type attribute? So type attribute, we will be having the checkbox. Okay. So an object where several values can be selected at the same time. Okay. So there is a difference between checkbox and the radio button. So checkbox are multiple options we can select, whereas radio button only one option we can select at a time here. Okay. So the checkbox is submitted as separate name or value pair for each selected value. So we have two things we need to remember: a different name and unique value. So unique value for the checkbox and the name for the checkbox here. So this is one type of attribute here. So how we will be using that checkbox option in the HTML? Yes, input type is equal to checkbox, name is equal to that attribute name we have to specify, and what is the value here. So that we need to specify. This is the method, or this is the format we need to specify whenever we are going to use that checkbox option here. Okay, so moving on to the next one, radio boxes, an object that defines an item where only one value can be selected from a set of possibilities. Already I told, so radio button or radio boxes, we can use it for selecting only one option here. Okay, right. So a set is defined as a group of radio boxes with the same name attribute. So either it's going to be a single radio box, or we can use it as a group radio boxes here. Okay, so these are the document how we can use a HTML radio box attribute under type attribute in form tag. So input name is equal to CZ, and values equal to visa, and type is equal to radio. So here I'm using radio button option. So either it's I need to select a Visa or MasterCard or American Express. So that choice we will be we will be able to create with the help of radio box here. Now, hidden type. So when this type is chosen, no field is presented to the user. So no field is going to be selected or presented to the user here. Okay, so mostly we can use this option for a shopping carts here, but it is optional. So mostly we will be using this checkbox and radio box option here. The next most important attribute is text type. So how we can use specifies a single line text entry field. So can be used with the maximum length and size attribute here. So maximum length is greater than or equal to size here. So we can specify the maximum length or maximum character we are going to type inside that text box here. Okay, so this is the format we need to follow while creating that text box here. So text box is nothing but single line text entry. Suppose if I want to use more than a line or multiple line, then we can use the option called text area. Okay, so another and most important thing is password type. So what will happen? What is the difference here? So I'm using input name is equal to password, type is equal to password. Everybody knows that what is the usage of password here, right? So what will happen if I'm typing that particular character inside the provided text box where I have mentioned the type is equal to password, it won't reveal, it won't display the character what I am typing. So instead, you can see one dot. Okay, so how many characters you are typing, that many dots will be displayed here. So it's encrypting or hiding that password details from the user here, in the whoever trying to view. Okay, so same as text, except the text entered by the user is obscured, so we can't find that what type of text uh, we are typing, so that if anyone trying to view that password, it's not possible. Okay, right. So that is one option. We can use it. So another thing is submit and reset. So submit we can enable with the help of type button here. Okay. Then reset again. If I want to clear all the previous values, I can make use of this reset attribute. Okay. Type is equal to reset. So button creates a button whose use can be defined through scripting and on-click event. So on-click event. If we are going in depth in the JavaScript. So in the next forthcoming classes, you will be coming to know about how you can embed your HTML program with JavaScript using this on-click event. So used to create a back button. So main thing is how effectively we are using that button here. So whenever I'm using this type attribute button, so you can see in the interface a button will be appear here. So either I can use it for clicking that OK. Caption also you can provide as OK, as well as you can go for the previous page, or you can go to the next page for that purpose, or for navigation purpose, you can make use of this button input type. Okay, so text area. So let user enters more than one line of text. That is, I told while we are discussing with, while we are dealing with text, right? Text attribute. So that is the difference. Normal text used for single line entry, whereas text area, more than one line of text is going to use it here. Okay. So uses attributes rows and column to size here. Okay. So that is the main objective here. So like that, we can use pull down menu uh, using select and option. Okay, right. So pull down menu, this is the format we are going to use. So select, name is equal to team, option, four options we have given here. So this is one method we need to follow to generate the pull down menu option here. So how we are going to deal with form programming, how we are going to handling that form data here. So this is one very simple format. So where we can access, that means using the interface, you can generate the input values, and through that get method, you're going to transmit the information or data to that server here. So that's how we are going to deal with that form details here. Okay. So mostly we will be using post method to handle the form data here. So data is sent in the format. So name is equal to and phone number. So no URL is sent here, whereas in get method, URL details will be shared. So that is one drawback here. Okay, right. So with this, I'm ending my lecture session here. So thank you, students. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.